Welcome back to Hold the Mayo, as always, with me, Sam McMahon, Sam the Man McMahon.
There you go.
And I'm the host with the most.
Guy Gutierrez.
Yeah. Yeah, you almost got it. You drinking over there? Dan Gutierrez IV. That is I.
Dude, no, I am certainly not drinking. I'm still on my pain nerve meds. So I'm loopy.
So you had a little setback. So Sammy, you've been dealing with this arm thing. It's been well over a month. Have you seen a specialist?
I have seen doctors. So what happened was pinched nerve in my neck, causing nerve pain all the way down my shoulder and my left arm, down to my wrist. Took me about a month to get over it. Thought I was in the clear, started spreading out my dosages, and then that was the absolute wrong thing to do. With that, I was feeling good, and that meant the stuff was actually finally working the way it was supposed to. And right as it started working, I decided to wean off of it because I'm an idiot and don't know what I'm doing. And it came roaring back this weekend, and I was in pretty bad shape. And so next step is actually get an MRI. I've got some bone spurs and arthritis in the back of my neck, which, I'm 48, that's going to happen, but they're not sure if it's pinching on the nerve or if the muscle is pinching. So I need an MRI to figure that out and figure out kind of what to do about this. But I've been going to the chiropractor. I've got a massage set for tomorrow. And tonight I'm going to one of those float chambers where you kind of it's like a deprivation chamber where you just lay in salt water and you float and you just kind of exist. And it's an Epsom salt and it's supposed to kind of help, with your body healing. And if anything, it'll be interesting.
That sounds pretty cool. Do you have to wear the mask? The leather
No,
mask with the thing with the whatchamacallit in your mouth?
I don't think so, but I did ask if I'm supposed to wear a bathing suit or something like that, or can we go in, nude or whatever. I didn't want to be the weird guy who showed up nude in this thing. And they said, no, you can show up in any way you want. So I'm going birthday suit. It's a private it's a private room. So I'm going birthday suit, man. I'm going full bore.
That's yeah. We don't want to see any pictures or videos from that, I'm sure.
I don't want to see.
So yeah, you probably don't want to see it either, right? I mean, come on. If you look like Princess Leia back there, because wow, she looks amazing.
Yeah.
Then you could send all the video you want, but yeah, that's not the case.
But update next week on how that went.
All right, we will be looking forward to it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Rays. We have some high school end of year experience stuff that we want to dabble in, and then I think we've been trying to do this for the past couple of weeks. We want to talk about some of our favorite TV shows, and maybe like a top 10. Maybe the 10 might be too much because I have a very small brain. So maybe top 3, right? How about top 3?
Top 3 will be fair. Yeah.
Give her a Mother's Day to remember. It starts with breakfast in bed, then giving her a CBD American Shaman Beauty Bundle, and ending the night with the CBD American Shaman Bath Bomb. We have the perfect gifts to pamper Mom. Our beauty bundle is 30% off, or get 30% off your total purchase of $99 or more. Talk with a certified CBD consultant, sample our products, and see why we say life is better with the feather. CBD American Shaman.
So I don't know if you got one of these, Sammy, but I got a couple years ago. We got a Google Nest AC unit.
No, I have something similar.
AC thermostat. And it has a mind of its own. Like before we started our meeting, I set the AC to 74. I just checked it, and it basically is wagging its finger at me and saying no, and it set it to 78. So
good.
It got hot in here.
Good thought. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, we keep ours at 70, 71.
Yeah, I don't have that much money, dude. I got 74.
Dude, I prefer 72, but my wife and I fight over a degree, so I'd rather just spend the money and lose the fight.
Yeah, the argument I have with my wife makes little sense to me because here's what happens. And I don't know if you're the same with the heater, but in the winter, the house with all the doors closed, no AC, no heater running, the house will get down to 70, 71. Okay. It's pretty well insulated.
Sure.
Outside, it might be 40, 50 degrees or whatever it is, right? She has to turn the heater on and she'll put it on to like 76. And I'm absolutely dying to the
Yeah.
point where I want to get a hammer and smash the freaking thermostat just so she can't control it anymore. But to me, it's not necessarily the heat. Like today, I was in the sun baking my ass off for 4 or 5 hours. It's
Right.
not the heat. It's just the way the heat is created. It makes me feel like it's very suffocating.
Oh,
The
it's
artificial heat.
Yeah.
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 And that's what kills me. So yes, but the rest of the thing is in the winter, she'll set it to 76 because 70s, 71 is too cold. In the summer, she'll try and put it down to 70, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
You're just putting this to the point where you need to turn on the heater so you don't feel cold.
Right.
What is up with that?
Women, dude.
Oh, gosh. I cannot win. Ray's update. It's going to be short. It was a very exciting story. It was probably the one of the main reasons I was looking at baseball this early in the year because the Rays were on fire. I think they were 14-0. They went on the road to see to play against the Blue Jays, and then the Blue Jays took 2 right away. And then I basically just kind of like gave up on it.
Yeah, I looked at them. I looked at them today. They are 16-3, and they've got a plus 83 runs scored versus the competition, and the next closest team actually is the Texas Rangers at plus 34. So that just shows how dominant they really were. And this will probably be the last time we ever mention the Rays on here. But that was a pretty cool story. Starting out, and they're just absolutely dominant. So good job, Tampa. That's what happens when you host Taylor Swift for a weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure Taylor Swift definitely was a major contributing factor
She was,
to
of
the
course.
early success that we saw in the Rays. But she left the state, and now I'm hoping
They
that they
lose.
struggle the rest of the year.
Right?
Because
Right.
I am a true Red Sox fan, and I need them to start playing some ball because they did not have a great start to the season by any means, especially after getting swept by the Rays. They are currently 9-9, playing 500 ball.
I have some friends who are Red Sox fans, and just, my gosh, it's probably about as obnoxious as me winning in fantasy football or something. It was just unbearable.
Which has not happened yet. I don't. Have you won? Have you?
Dude,
Nope.
another story. Another week. Another week.
Yeah, we'll put a pin in that, but there's definitely a huge asterisk that is
Right.
associated with this year.
Right.
That may be a good topic for next week that we'll touch on. But we'll take a quick commercial break now, and then we're gonna hit on something that I mentioned. We're gonna talk about the high school experience and how people end their years and what they look forward to and what that means for everybody nowadays. So we'll be right back with that.
At a moment like this, I'm glad I used Tampax Pearl.
Tampax Pearl protects better. Only Tampax has a leak guard braid to help stop leaks before they happen. Tampax Pearl protects better.
Fry babies! Happy flowers! Look, it's Mila! They smell like flowers! And lots of accessories! Twist and reveal! The magic tears reveal happy faces! Fry babies! Each sold separately!
I watched a lot of Mike and Mike when it was on TV.
Dude, I missed it, by the way. Total tangent. I miss Mike and Mike. I love that show.
It was definitely a better show than Get Up. And what was the other one that Golick went to that fell apart after a couple years?
Basic same thing. It was just with his son or with...
No, it was with Trey Wingo.
Yeah.
But it didn't last.
It was just a morning show. Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about high school, the high school experience. Last week we spoke about high school football. Both Sammy and I played high school football. I'm going to do air quotes. We played high school football. I actually was number 4 in the county for receiving my senior year. I will always throw that out there. 18 catches.
I have 5 receivers total.
What was that?
Out of 5 receivers total.
No, we had, I think there were 5 schools. We were definitely the passing school. We were the first team in America to become a passing team because we could not run the ball to save our lives.
Nice.
But yeah, I had 18 receptions for 225 yards. I did not score a touchdown, unfortunately. There were two bombs that I'm running, and it was like 50-yard bombs, and just they were like in my hands, but they went through my hands, and they both would have been touchdowns, and it would have changed my life.
It was the
But
sun. The sun was in your eyes.
yeah, the sun that happens at 7:30, 8
Yeah,
o'clock at night.
yeah. The evening sun just shone right in your eyeballs.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But it got me thinking about when I was in high school, my senior year, and the kind of the difference that I noticed nowadays between how my kids are going through their school experience versus how I went through it. It might be completely different from what you see, Sammy, and what other people are seeing. So when I was in high school, and Sammy is probably similar for you, um, there was traditional homecoming, traditional prom events that I attended both.
Yeah.
I was not crowned the homecoming king or queen, so don't pop that joke in there, Sammy. I'll beat you to the punch. But it was very interesting. I was, for whatever reason, the homecoming king sat at my table, decided to take off his crown, and I just felt like maybe I should keep it company. So I put it on my head and I walked around with it for a couple of hours. What the hell?
Who knew? No one knew anything.
Those are two big things I think that the high school experience may have changed some, especially for my kids. And in addition to that, I think another huge thing is yearbooks. Are yearbooks even still around? I don't know. So my son attended FLVS, which is basically online school, and my daughter is doing the same thing. So when you attend this Florida virtual school, you don't get the option to do prom or homecoming, or actually, you don't even graduate. And I think that's becoming more and more of a thing as traditional schools kind of fall away from um, being traditional. It does have to do more along the lines with parents who have students who are pursuing different extracurriculars that may consume a lot more time than the average student. So my son was a baseball player. So he began attending a private baseball academy that was Monday through Friday, and they would practice from 9 o'clock until 2 in the afternoon, and they would get in their workouts, their fielding, their hitting, their throwing, everything that was baseball related. And he would come home and do school at his own pace. That's kind of the key thing on the computer. It's very close to homeschool. You mentioned homeschool, but it's not homeschool because I was never actually the teacher. He had
Right.
real teachers, real state certified teachers that managed the class and would grade his work and give feedback and go and put him through that whole process. The only difference was he wasn't in the classroom Monday through Friday.
Right. Right.
His peers were all baseball guys. And I mean, it saved us a ton of time. We saved money on school clothes because we had to buy school clothes, but that money was just getting funneled into the baseball stuff. They did have a yearbook for them, which is one of the topics I wanted to touch on because their yearbook obviously was virtual. It was electronic. The yearbook that I had, and tell me, Sam, if you had something different, was a big paper book with like
Oh yeah.
100 pages. Basically, the yearbook for me was an opportunity each year to poke fun at some of the people that I knew from class that came up to me. I never bought the yearbook because my parents didn't have an extra $50 or whatever it was to buy a yearbook. And I was okay with that because
Right.
people my age, if you still have your yearbook, there's something wrong with you. Sorry. Sammy, do you still have your yearbook?
Dude, no, I have no idea. Every once in a while, someone from the class will, post a picture or, say that they went through theirs. And I don't really hold that opinion. If you have it, I mean, you stored it somewhere. Now, if you're referring to it weekly, you probably have a problem. But, um, we didn't have the money to get a class ring or anything like that for me. So I did get a yearbook and it was probably too expensive. But the fun part with those is you always had that idiot who would sign the spine of it inside. Like, I'm the first to sign your crack and stuff like that inside the yearbook. And people, wishing you, hey, stay cool. Can't wait to see you next summer, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. But I, for the life of me, have no idea where my yearbooks are. My daughter has hers, so I know they still make them. Um, and it was neat to look through it for about the 5 minutes that we did. So that was money well spent. But it's a nostalgia thing. In 20 years, when she goes back and looks at it, it'd be kind of neat, kind of cool. If you ever even think to do it, it's all a racket, rings, all that stuff. If you're wearing your high school ring past June, the year you graduate, you've probably doing something wrong with your life. So,
Yeah.
Sorry for anybody watching who does that. Let's get some therapy to look into that for you. But, prom, oh my gosh, I loved my prom. My prom was like, you can romanticize an event, and maybe I am just a girl, but I always wanted to just have the coolest prom. And
Right.
the girl I was dating at the time, she was wearing a white dress, almost dang near looked like a wedding dress. And I was wearing like a white tux with a tail, and I'll shoot you the picture. But my gosh, I looked like a waiter. And, but it was so cool. I thought I looked the coolest I'd ever looked in my life, and it was just an absolute cool evening. And my table was down by the dance floor. Nobody wanted to dance or anything like that. Well, I walked out of the ballroom, go say hi to somebody, get a drink or something. I don't know. Came back and I just kind of did a little goofy jig across the dance floor back to my table. And that is what got everybody dancing at my prom. Never forget that. So,
That's amazing. That is
yeah,
amazing, Sammy. So
I'm a leader, just so you
yeah,
know.
yeah, definitely. You lead by example. So
Right.
what I want to touch on was yearbooks. They may have changed through time, but there's still one thing that sometimes does fall into yearbooks is that everybody gets, not everybody, the seniors who are graduating get to add a quote. So I did find some of the more popular recent quotes. These may or may not be real, but they are definitely funny. So, and I'll put them up on the screen as I go through them. Jalen Moore said, "I asked God for a bike, but I know God doesn't work that way. So I stole the bike and asked God for forgiveness." Yeah. Then there's the twins, Julia and Rachel. "I didn't choose the twin life. The twin life chose me." That was kind of lame. I don't know why what the joke behind that one is. Made no sense, right?
And not very good.
Connor said, "I don't know. You can just put some quote in for me, Connor." So he definitely, I'm not sure how that guy even graduated. Like, come on.
I don't, yeah, I
Something,
don't
dude.
He's one who goes above and beyond in life at this point, probably.
Yeah. Nicholas Key, "I knew my girl was cheating on me when she said she was at the mall with Christy, but Christy was laying right next to me."
There's no way something like that would make a yearbook nowadays.
Yeah, it's definitely are dated or they're just kind of made up. Who knows? Who knows? Still funny. So last one we'll move on. Kevin Chang, "It's not enough that I should succeed. Others should fail." There you go.
What's
That
his
wraps
name?
it up.
What's his name?
Kevin Chang.
Good job, Kevin Chang. I'm right there with you. Watch them all. Life is a zero-sum game.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to move on. We got to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with, what do we talk about next? What are we talking about?
Underrated shows.
Underrated TV shows. Everything that everyone cares about in life. On the other side of this break.
So, what do you think?
We're prepared to offer cash.
When you get great deals at Denny's,
$5.99.
you'll start to expect great deals everywhere. New all-day diner deals starting at $5.99. 10 delicious meals, only at Denny's.
Get this thing started, dude.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. So today on Hold the Mayo, we're going to end with our top underrated shows that we've seen in our life. You've got all these shows that people like to watch, but every once in a while you come across a gem that's like, you know what? I'd never hear anybody else talking about this show, but I freaking enjoyed it to my life's full content. So we want to go through some of these underrated shows. I'll let you start because I want to end with mine because mine are the best underrated shows you're ever going to find. So, what are some shows that you've seen that, like, you know what, you've enjoyed it more than the hype that you've heard about the show?
Timeless. I think it was on NBC,
Yeah.
and basically the premise of the show was there was a time machine that could go back into time, or obviously forward through time, and one of the inventors of the machine stole the machine, and they whatever the agency was, CIA, Homeland Security, I don't know who it was, they brought in like these like historian experts to go through in the second machine and to try and track down the guy who stole the first machine, steal it back, and stop him from destroying the world. So every episode, they would go back to a certain period in time and they would have to fix or stop the guy from doing something. And then every time when they came back, something was still changed, kind of like butterfly effect.
Right. Right.
It was fun to watch, but I think it was a total piece of horseshit because because once you travel back to the future, right? I specifically say back to the future for a reason. Once you travel back to the future, everything that you changed in the past, the people who were there waiting for you to get back, that would have been all they knew. They wouldn't have known what actually happened. They would have known what, but that's not what transpired in the show. So for
Right.
me, it was fun to watch, but it fell apart because you just can't do time travel. Time travel is the one thing that TV shows and movies need to steer clear of, because it's very tricky because nobody knows how time travel really works. The story kind of falls apart for me because whatever they changed in the past should have carried forward to the future, but the people who were there waiting for them, like the CIA operatives,
Right.
still they like it's like nothing happens.
They
Right?
remember that for the past for what they remember it, not how it's been changed.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
But so if you could have found a way around that, like if the machine didn't have to necessarily travel back into time, and maybe it was like even more crazy, like it traveled to another dimension, that way it wouldn't affect there, then like it would work because it's
Right.
not impacting their world. Because visually it was fun to watch. The characters were amazing. I mean, it was a great show all around, with the exception of that. I mean, there was none of these actors are made it big time. Probably the biggest one, I'm gonna butcher his name, was uh uh Goran Vishniji. I butchered his name. I'll put his picture up so you can see his picture. So you can see his face. He was probably the biggest actor in the group. But there was Malcolm Butler, Abigail Spencer, Matt Lanter, were the main the main group of time travelers. And it was a good show to watch. It was just at the same time it was just stupid. So I would say it's underrated, but fun to watch. It only lasted one season. The executives came in and said, we don't really want this. And then I think they brought the crew back to do a finale, quote unquote, movie, to kind of wrap everything up. But it was good to watch.
Yeah, I like time travel. If they ever get it right.
So what have they gotten it right in?
Huh?
In what that you've watched have they gotten it right?
What have they gotten?
Time travel.
The Avengers. They did a good job with that. Back
Okay.
to the Future did good.
I would say, let me stop you there. Back to the Future was a fail. I absolutely love Back to the Future. I've watched it way too many times. I've watched it probably 50 times. My kids will attest to it. Part 1 was okay. I loved part 2. The cinematography was amazing. The way they timed everything up, amazing. The story, flat on its face. And here's why. And you might have seen some theories about this.
All right.
Doc Brown goes back to 1985 to tell Michael J. Fox that his kids are shitheads, that they've totally done something horrible that's going to ruin their family.
Okay.
He then proceeds to take Marty McFly, I should call him Marty McFly, and his girlfriend at the time, whatever her name is, doesn't matter, she's irrelevant. Puts them in the car, in the time machine, and carries them from 1985 to 2015, right? They have
Right.
now been pulled out of the timeline, right? When they
Okay.
land in 2015, there should be no kids because they didn't have a chance to do that in 1985 and let their kids grow. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yes, that's
nitpicky.
why. That's
Come on.
why. That's why.
That's nitpicky, dude. Oh my
No, it's just reality. And I just ruined the movie for you now, right? Now, next
No.
time you watch it, you're gonna be like, no.
You absolutely suck. I hate everything.
But I love the movie. Every time it's on, I have to watch it. Terminator. I love Terminator movies.
Okay.
How does John Connor send his father back to become his father? Right?
Okay.
It's not possible. It's
Why?
because he wasn't there the first time to create John Connor that would send his dad back to the past to make him. It's a paradox. It's what Doc Brown warns us about. It's
Okay.
impossible.
Aneurysm. I don't know. I'll take your word.
You got to get rushed to the hospital. Now, next time you watch Terminator, you're going to think the same thing.
I have enough issues. I don't need to have a brain aneurysm. Good Lord.
Panic. This show debuted in 2021, and basically it takes place in the little known town of Carp, Texas. I'm not from Texas, Sammy. You are. I don't know if
I've
you know
never-
where that place is.
Probably fictional.
Okay. Yeah, it says the rural town of Carp, Texas. So essentially, there's a game that's played every summer by the graduating seniors, and they are actually risking their lives in competing in this game. There's no definitive prize except you get to, like, say that you won the game, essentially. But the things start to happen. It gets out of control. It's an absolutely awesome not movie. It's a show, but I think it's underrated. It has a 6.5 rating on IMDb, but to me, it's definitely worth the watch. I mean, we're talking, I think it's 10 episodes, and if you have a weekend, dedicate your time to see it. There's no major actors in it. It's a bunch of unknowns, or at least they were unknowns at the time of shooting this. I don't think anyone's done anything big, though, to be honest. But it's an amazing show. Great
I've
cast,
heard of
great
it.
acting.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know it's in my list, but I probably have about 2,500 things in my list.
When you get a restyled Honda CRV, you get more. You get a set of wheels that helps you go farther with less. A better view of your surroundings. And you're getting Motor Trend's 2015 Sport Utility of the Year. So visit your local Honda dealer today.
When I think of underrated shows, I think of shows that I just haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about. And the very first, my top underrated show in history is a show on Stars called Black Sails. It is a no holds barred. It's not. It's not the "Arr, I'm a pirate." It really shows what the pirate life really was about. The premises that are going after a ship that has all sorts of gold, and you've got all these different pirate factions fighting over it. And then you've got the British Army, the British Navy, who gets called in to squash any kind of pirating in the area. And Black Sails, once the second season hits, and let me go back. It's not that the first season sucks or anything. It does not. It's good, but it's not anything that will blow your mind away. It's like, okay, that was neat. Very well done. Very well, the visuals and the production value is great. Clearly, it put a lot of money into it, but just the story, it ends in a way that you weren't necessarily expecting, and then you realize, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. Well, when the second season starts, it just does not let up. And I believe it goes for 4 seasons, and the show from seasons 2 through 4 just does not let up. And if you're a fan of Treasure Island, if you know anything about Treasure Island, and honestly, I didn't, other than it exists. I didn't realize this until I kind of read some stuff after the fact. Black Sails sets up Treasure Island, so it's like
So,
a prequel to it all.
so two things, Sammy. One, does anybody in the series say, "I don't want to be a pirate"?
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't happen. I guess it's just in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And when you say Treasure Island, I'm not sure. Are you saying Treasure Island? Oh, I was thinking Fantasy Islands. So
No, yeah,
what is Treasure Islands?
pirate book. Black Sails has Long John Silver in it.
I love Long John Silver's.
Dude, he's the coolest character in the show. Just outrageous, and he's not as greasy as the food you eat, which is kind of cool. Bones. The show ends. If you know Treasure Island, and again, I do not, but apparently Billy Bones is a key character in Treasure Island, and the way it ends kind of sets Billy Bones' story up through the rest of Treasure Island, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah. Just trust me. If you have stars, watch Black Sails. Best show, probably the best show. Certainly one of the top 5 shows I've ever watched, and certainly my top underrated show. So Succession. I know Josh and I've been trying to get you to watch Succession on HBO. Dude, absolutely fantastic show. One of the best shows I've ever seen. It has some hype. There's plenty of people who do like it, but given the fact that even you won't watch it, considering some of the stuff that you do watch, tells me that it's underrated.
I think I'd have to agree with you. I just haven't had a chance to invest into it. I see how you guys are like so into the show.
Yeah.
It draws you in. I just don't have time right now to dedicate myself to that. But I want to. I want to watch it. Just haven't had a chance yet.
It's just Game of Thrones on Wall Street, and then the last one, and I'll let you have the last word. The last one is Billions on Showtime. I love everything Paul Giamatti's in, and he and Damian Lewis go at it. And the finale of the first season is probably the best finale of any show of any season I've ever seen. It sets everything else up, but it's a self-contained season as well, and it is just 2 titans going after each other. One guy is a hedge fund manager, Damian Lewis. He's a hedge fund manager in Wall Street. Giamatti's character is a DA going after him for white collar crime. Just messing with the markets and just stock market crimes and stuff. And they just get after each other and just rip each other's lives apart in the process. And the thing is, both of them have points. Both of them are the villain and the hero as the show goes on, and you understand each side's point of view, and whoever you want to win is justified. It is such a cool show.
So Sammy, I tried. I had to cut it off because my wife came in the very first episode. I think it was Paul Giamatti's character, I guess, has a fetish.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where he's on the floor, and I guess there's a prostitute or a call girl
just
pissing on him.
Yeah.
So that was it for me.
Yeah, my wife walked in. She goes, "What are you watching?" It doesn't last long. Don't worry. And there's not a lot of that stuff at all in any way. But yeah, it's very shocking opening. I completely agree.
Final break here, and then we're gonna do some quick rapid fire and send you guys into next week. So we'll do that right after this one.
Long John Silver's is the only place that fries Alaskan whitefish to a golden perfection and serves it with hush puppies for under $2. Take that, every other restaurant. Sink your teeth into fish and pup price perfection, only at Long John Silver's.
All right, and we are back, and we're going to do some quick rapid fire here before we wrap things up and send you guys off into next week. Players stomping on players and getting suspended.
Yeah,
and what do you think?
Yeah. Draymond Green. I guess that my rapid fire is that guy's an absolute douchebag, and every game he loses, I smile. I can't stand him at all. He's not tough. He's not keeping it real. He's not doing anything other than just being nasty, just for nasty's sake. My favorite player in history is Bill Laimbeer. That guy was mean just to be mean sometimes, but maybe I would have liked Draymond back in the day. I don't know, but this day and age, all he's doing is he's nothing but a dirty player just to be a dirty player.
I would have to say I completely agree with you, Sammy. I think Draymond Green has taken it to a level that's far beyond anything that's necessary by any means in NBA basketball, either today's game or even the game 25, 30 years ago that we watched when Bill Laimbeer was just an absolute roughneck and just tearing down the house.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember watching some of Lambeer's I wouldn't even call him antics. He was just really, really tough. I never saw him, to my recollection, unnecessarily kicking anybody in the newts, unnecessarily stomping on anybody. He was very, very strong. He was a very, very strong player, and he just brought it. He just brought it, and people didn't like that. But it wasn't the same as what Draymond Green is doing. Draymond Green is absolutely just beating people up. And if he did that in the street, there'd be a street
he
fight.
get killed. He get shot.
What he's doing is not basketball. It's just being a bully and completely unnecessary and not what I want my kids watching by any means. Even though we do watch John Wick, but they understand there's a difference between a make-believe movie and something that's real life, real people actually doing this to each other. So that's all we got today, man. Sammy, thanks again. See you next time.
Hey, man.
Hold the Mayo. Man.
See, dude.
We need to start over because all that stuff was like good stuff.
I know, right? My hand is cramping holding my phone.
From Mike. That was scary. The door opened. I'm still stealing that from